Hello, everyone. Welcome here to Tartarus. So, we're here to talk about Persona 3 Reloaded a little bit. So, I did do a YouTube short about Reloaded. A bit of a strong initial reaction to the news that came out soon after its official trailer, and not the leaked, it wasn't leaked. It was technically accidentally posted before it should have. I really have to wonder how that may have affected the funds Microsoft and Atlas transferred each other for such a initial reveal, only listing Microsoft initially. Fooling no one. Well, actually, to be honest, a lot of people apparently were fooled. Excuse me. Ooh, it's still early in the morning. Apparently, a lot of people were actually pretty fooled. A lot of people were concerned. Look, the day Atlas makes a Microsoft exclusive fucking title is going to be two things. Microsoft either paid a shit ton of money for it, or Atlas has officially lost its mind. I guess there's the third possibility in the future that somehow Microsoft becomes the leading console on Japanese shit, which very unlikely anytime soon, but hey, weirder things have happened, so I guess three possibilities. But yeah, there was no way that Atlas or Sega was just going to fucking make a Microsoft exclusives, especially being a mainline Persona game, especially. That would just be insane. That would definitely be fucking headline news there, for sure. But no. Of course, it later got revealed that they are getting on many other versions of systems. Actually, I think the only thing that isn't getting reloaded, everything's basically getting Tactica, but I think the only thing that wasn't getting reloaded was Switch. Switch did not get an announcement. And that could be for two reasons. Either A, there's just no plans for it. B, they might be still working on it. Because to my understanding, the Unreal Engine, which for some reason they're using the Unreal Engine in this, I don't know why. I mean, if you know the history of Atlas lately, because Catherine was made to test out a new engine for Persona 5. So they made Catherine, use that engine to make Persona 5. You got Persona 5's engine. And considering this game is mimicking how Persona 5 is, I'm surprised no one's really asked, why are you using Unreal instead of your own engine that you've used basically like 3 times? You got Catherine, Persona 5, and then Royal. Now, I don't know if they used it in like anything. I guess you do got the, whatever the new version of Catherine was called 2. I imagine they still used it for that too, I would imagine. But, yeah, I mean, I don't get why they're using Unreal. Very odd, but it shows it, though. And my understanding, Switch has a huge problem with Unreal shit. So that's probably one very good reason it's not on Switch, definitely on launch. Now, they could be working on it. Because after all, people have gotten Unreal to work on Switch. But it takes more time. So there could be something in the future. Or maybe in a later version, if they do one, which we'll get on that topic. So, Reloaded was announced, and as most of you probably definitely know, they said FES would not be a part of Persona 3 Reloaded, that this was going to be the OG Persona 3 experience. And then, of course, the whole internet, including me, were pretty pissed, because, look, if you're not familiar with Persona 3, you're probably not really familiar with the idea that there's a definitive problem here. So you got, not counting Reloaded, there were 3 versions of Persona 3. The OG release on PS2, FES on PS2, and then Portable on PSP. Now, nobody really, unless you want literally the original experience completely, nobody really pays much attention to the original release. Portable and FES both have things that the other don't have. FES has improvements to the base game, and it also added, I guess, a social link and a few things, and it, more importantly, has an additional story called The Answer that takes place after Persona 3. And considering it's canon, that's pretty important. And it honestly has a lot of epic moments in it, even though the gameplay of it is a big old slog. But that's a whole different subject now. And this could have been an opportunity to actually fix that problem with the answer, honestly. In Portable, they had to scale back a lot of things, but they went with a more visual novel aesthetic because of having to cut out a lot of the 3D modeling and stuff. So they had to go very 2D conversations in a lot of moments in the game. Really, the most 3D usually happens in the dungeons, basically. Outside dungeons, it's very visual novel in the Portable version. But the oddball thing they did with Portable is they gave you the option to be a female protagonist instead of the male protagonist, which isn't simply just changing your gender. It actually has while the story carries out the same, a lot of other side stuff. Your social links are completely different. You have completely different new social link interactions with the male characters, and just hell, there's even different battle music and shit. I mean, it's a different way to experience what is essentially the same mainline storyline at the end. And they even featured a way to save a character who actually dies in the OG story, which I have a funny feeling they might slip that in and Reloaded anyway. Maybe. But, and I know a lot of people probably scream, no! I mean, yeah, it kind of takes away, like, it's kind of like my opinion with the Final Fantasy reimagining, because, I feel like when they fixing deaths and shit, they're taking away, dramatic scenes and shit, but, again, that's another subject matter of that. So, of course, a lot of people are just like, this was an opportunity, make a definitive edition. It would have been awesome to have all this combined into a new thing, but no. Now, they went to clarify, because obviously people, even if you want to not count the answer and the female protagonist stuff, a lot of people were confused by them saying the original Persona 3, because it's like, there were a lot of nice improvements FES did to the base game. And some of them were even fixing things that they kind of slipped in the original release. And people were just like, why wouldn't you include those? So they clarified better. Basically, when they said the FES, they basically meant the answer. The answer will not be in Reloaded. What will be in it is basically everything else that they did. And more. They did say that they wanted to do more newer stuff too, which is odd because, that could be used to get the answer in Reloaded perhaps. But I do get why they say this. So, for modern players who've only played 4 and 5, you get your tie-on party as social links. So 3 was the first one to do social links. Before that, there was kind of something very, very, barely kind of in 2, but not anywhere close to what it is now. Some people like to point at as being a little bit more of the originator, but it's a bit of a stretch, honestly. But anyway, Persona 3 started the social link system. What they did in it, though, is they made a very harem system with your party. So the male protagonist could only have social links with the female characters, while in Portable, the female protagonist could only have social links with the male characters, which, be fair, made a lot of interesting different actions compared to the original playthroughs. But now that, they do the whole party, there's this talk about what are they going to do, because there's not going to be female protagonists, so you got the whole male cast of the party that doesn't have a social link system for them. And what they did in the female protagonist route is they took like the magician social link person, which was a student who has a crush on a teacher, is prominently featured in Reloaded's trailer, which means, well, the magician social link is still in the game then. And Junpei, one of your party members in the beginning, is the magician and the female protagonist. So they can't just simply strip that without drastically changing a lot of the characters and stuff for the male storyline. So it's unknown what they're going to do exactly, whether they're going to relabel them with additional social links or just do something completely different that works kind of like a social link or not. But whatever route they go, I'm pretty sure it is going to work similar to a social link. Because, I mean, if they're going to take a lot of mechanics from the modern Persona games where your party members can dive in front of moves that are going to kill you, take hits, and interact with you, or the baton pass in 5, that was a really neat thing. And then in Golden and Royal, they added things where you have like additional like team-up shit that the characters can do, but they're all built on relationship things. And if you don't have a system for that with the male characters, it's going to be kind of hard to make it feel like it's something you naturally earned upon bonding. So it'll be interesting to see whether they give them new social links or not. But it's pretty surely that's what they're mainly talking about. Because when you read the interview that they did later on, it makes it sound like obviously that's what they seem to be talking about. But they didn't clarify in depth about it, to be fair. So, some of that is a bit speculation. But I think most people would agree is very likely he's talking about the male characters in the party. But I would say they probably should just try to think of social links to slap on them, maybe. But, they got a lot of the primary ones already used, so it's probably a little tough to figure it out. And of course, Portable added manual controls. With the original and FES, you did not have controls for your party member. They were AI, and you could only give tactical advice to hopefully get them to do what you want. So obviously the manual option will surely be in Reloaded. It was shown off, and you could see the footage with Yukari having the command wheel come up in that. So that's definitely in. There was no chance it wasn't going to be in, because obviously having that option is good. But I would argue to still have the AI system as something you can use too if you want to try and originate that original playthrough or challenge ones or things. It's been very mixed since the announcement of this, about them constantly saying like original Persona experience, and then it's like it just kind of keeps wavering back and forth. It's like when it first came out, they were saying stuff like, no FES, is solely based on the original Persona 3, and I just feel like there's a lot, like sometimes I wonder if there was like some translation errors, maybe, because obviously journalists are pretty bad at their job, so I wouldn't be surprised if some things slipped in misunderstandings. It's not like that's never happened before. So Reloaded had a good reaction to me, and then a bad reaction hearing about the FES, and now I'm kind of in the middle, because there's going to be interesting new experiences, and the fact that they said all the social link level ups, and like this is supposed to be this Persona game is supposedly going to be the most voice-lined Persona game ever, which then now explains why they recasted everyone. Because on one hand, I'm not even sure who everyone's available. I mean, the original voice actor for Igor in Japan is dead. They recasted him finally in Persona 5 after just reusing his lines millions of times since his passing away. English-wise, though, I don't know if everyone who provided English voiceovers is available to do their characters again from the original cast. I know, like, Weisei, for example, and I think it was the second Arena game, they got someone else to do Weisei because the original voice actor was busy doing other things, I believe, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, I kind of see why they wanted to recast. If they're going to do a whole lot of new scenes and stuff with lines that never even existed before, it probably is, if you can't get the Italian original cast, it probably is just easier to redo it all. Now, I'm always iffy about English English voice acting and anime shit these days, because a lot of it is really fucking horrible nowadays. Oh my goodness. You know, that anime, like Dragon Maid, the anime about the girl who bullies the artist, and the one with the short stack girl with that's in college, of that, like the English choices for a lot of those characters are so fucking horrendous. Subjective opinion. Now, I think Atlas usually does a very good job casting characters a lot of times for English roles. Sometimes there might be one or two that's, but I think overall they usually do good. So hopefully their choices do a good role on the cast for Persona 3. It obviously will probably be hard for some of us older fans, because, you know, we've been listening to most of the same voice actors do the roles of the characters since the original, with a few that have swapped in and out. It's going to be different for some, probably. Some will probably sound very different and will have probably strong opinions on who sounds like the better person for that role. There's always going to be a bias, usually for the original actor, a lot of times in these cases. So let's see how that goes. I hope they chose a good cast of people that can do their characters, though. Like I said, I don't usually have a problem with characters that Atlas usually picks. They usually do a decent job, unlike the anime industry lately these days. Oh my gosh, so fucking awful. Ugh. What the fuck? Anywho, though, I'm kind of back to looking forward to it. I'm probably not going to immediately buy it. I might wait for a discount, because obviously, you know, it's a lot of retrending at the same time story-wise for me. But there will be new things to experience, so it's something to look forward to anyway. But I just think ultimately it's a huge missed opportunity to make a definitive edition that was much needed. We'll keep getting in this bigger bubble of the older Persona games, just not like, hell, not even just Persona. Like Etra Odyssey had the same problem just now. The Etra Odyssey HD versions are not a definitive experience, because you don't have the 3DS content of 1 and 2 that actually had additional story modes on top of the OG experience. Though I've heard there was some balancement issues in the second the second 3DS game because of that. I don't know much about, but I've read about before. So, but you know, you could always literally just split the two and change the balancement, but there's this problem. It just seems to keep cropping up that we can't really get definitive editions. And then you get shit that calls itself definitive, like the Grand Theft Auto definitive shit. And then you just scoff and like, what the fuck? I mean, seriously, that was a joke. But yeah, Persona 3 really needed a definitive edition, and this missed that mark. It's been wanted for ages to have a definitive edition, to have the female protagonist and the Ansel in a one package thing, and bring the female protagonist to a higher standard than just 2D visual novelness. So, sadly, big missed opportunity on all that. Now, is there a chance of it in the future? Conspiracy theories. Of course, the conspiracy theory wheels have gone and said, like, there could be DLC. They could do a Royal Gold edition of Persona 3 Reloaded. And if they were to do anything like that, I think that's the route they would do. Because they've done that for basically every Persona game at this point, basically now. And that would be a way to get extra sales, add content, and it's very possible. And especially if Reloaded sells really well, there could be encouragement to do that from Sega. That I would hate for them to do that, because obviously that's just scalping more fucking money off of us. But Atlas, you know, has slowly been degrading some of its moles, having Day 1 DLC, and then there's the dancing game drama of 3 and 5. Dancing by Moonlight and Starlight. That was a shit show. I feel so sad pre-ordering that double pack of that. Like, honestly, that so much fucking DLC, plus the pre-order DLC for getting that version. The final boss theme of 3 is the pre-order DLC. As far as I know, they never put that for sale that I am aware of. I hope by now it's somewhere available now, because that's bullshit to have the final boss theme of fucking Persona 3 be a pre-order bonus only. That was bullshit on top of the tons of fucking music behind a paywall on day fucking 1. Horseshit. I can't, what the fuck? But yeah, that was a disaster. And of course, you have Tactica, which one has to wonder if Tactica will continue the Persona 5 course of spin-offs, having Persona 5 spin-offs having very troubled sales, because, Q2 did very badly in Japan. I remember when PlayAsia had copies for $5. That's crazy. That is heavily discounted for a very high-profile JRPG series in Japan. That's crazy that it went that low in fucking Japan. While of course we got limited stock of it and sold out fast, and I imagine it's probably up though these days. I imagine. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I would imagine it's probably very expensive, if not going to get more expensive. So you better hope that Etra Odyssey collection does well, because I imagine Q1 and Q2 would be up next if that does well. But I'm going on a tyrant on very off topic here, stealing IOV. So 3 Reloaded, I'm looking forward to it again. I wish it was definitive. Maybe down the road we'll get a actual definitive version for more cash, which sucks, but that is a possibility that could happen. But we'll have to see. Let me know what you think about the whole thing with Persona 3 Reloaded, because that, over the course of the few days it got its official reveal. There's just been trickle bits of information. I've actually remade this video twice now because of getting more additional information of that. But yeah, my feelings have been very wishy-washy on the whole thing. Ultimately, it should be an interesting thing, but we'll place FES as the definitive version you should get. Well, if they never make a actual version with the answer down the road, it probably will be a tough argument. And plus, if you are interested in ever playing the answer, you might want to look into FES, because it wouldn't be shocking me if right now scalpers are buying as many copies as they can to make that go up with the announcement of the answer is not going to be in Reloaded. Wouldn't shock me. So if that's something you'll actually want to experience yourself, might want to check that out if the game is still even affordable. I don't know what FES goes for anymore these days. Probably a lot. Too much shit is... It's crazy to me how much shit I have that is so much expensive from, the dollars or just normal price I paid for it now. Anyway, though, those are my thoughts on the Reloaded situation. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time with a review next Monday. Because of my DS video I put up, because that was a lot of editing on that. That's why I didn't get a review for this Monday. So I will be editing the next review for the next Monday, and we'll hopefully get a little bit back on track on that. I am actually, while on that real quick, I am happy the DS video actually did pretty good for its first day. It's still, niche. But it actually did really decently good with people finding it that. So I'm very glad that most people told me very enjoyable stuff with it. So I will look forward to trying to do some more, but those will be a slower process. I'm going to have to probably try, the DS one I started and finished. So probably future ones I will start and kind of bounce between doing next review and working on it a little, probably is why we'll try to probably do the balance to continue doing the 2 reviews per month at a minimum thing. So we'll see that. But anyway, let me know what you think about the whole Persona 3 reload. Take it easy, have a wonderful day, and be safe this week. Stay hydrated. It's getting hot. Wahoo!